Hello, Martini McFly here. Come along on the journey with me of doing some stage makeup. My stage makeup is like a vague mix of glamour and drag, and it's drag mostly in the fact that I block out my close to non-existent eyebrows. So here I am starting with one of those little razor, like dermablade situations, getting rid of half my eyebrow. I used to keep as much of my eyebrow as possible, and then I was like, you know what? I don't care what I look like on a day-to-day basis. I use Prozaid to block my brow, to stick my brows down. So I learnt this technique from Brooklyn Heights, believe it or not. One of her videos. I don't know her. But yeah, you put your Prozaid both ways on your eyebrows, so you get it underneath the hairs and on top of the hairs, and use a metal comb to brush them up and flat against your skin. I do a little bonus layer on top, just the tiniest little bit, and that sticks them down pretty good. I started doing this just after I had my daughter, because I wasn't allowed to have any Botox. I used to get the little brow lift Botox, and I found when I'd stopped doing that, my eyebrows kind of drooped, and I had no space for my eyeshadow. So yeah, block your brow, lift it up a little bit. You'll see in a second. I draw my eyebrows slightly higher than they actually exist on my face. Here I am using a MAC Studio Fix foundation powder that I've had for like a decade. But it's good to block the color out a little bit before you go and draw your eyebrows on. I use Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow pomade, I think it is. It's like a gel. And this is like an almost black color. You'll see in a second when we zoom in, I'm drawing these slightly higher than my real eyebrow, and I'm like making a cute shape. The texture of these is quite interesting, as you can imagine. Sometimes it's not good for like a close-up show. Definitely not good for like day drag, where people can see too much of your face. But in, like low light and a couple of meters away, yeah, excellent. You can see there, you don't have to be too precious about the shape initially, because we're going to go and use like a concealer after we've finished filling these in and kind of cut the shape in a bit nicer and correct any mistakes we've made. In terms of where the shape starts and ends, you kind of just have to get in and have a go and try different shapes out. I start it where my actual eyebrows begin, and I take them up at an angle, and then kind of more out rather than down, because I need to lift that outer corner of my eyelid. But yeah, truly, you just need to have a go in the mirror. You're going to look like an idiot a few times, but then eventually you'll be like, yeah, I look hot. Here I am, just like my eyebrows aren't the same every time. Sometimes I do this fun little sash of allure, like inner eyebrow hair situation, and sometimes I just color them in the full way, one color. Okay, now that we've done that, we are going to use concealer, and I use It Cosmetics. I don't know if it's IT Cosmetics or It Cosmetics. They're an excellent pigment and an excellent kind of texture for me. And I've got a flat brush, and I really like carve out the eyebrow with that flat brush and the concealer. So you can see if you have a really hectic concealer like this one, you can really go over any mistakes you've made. Because I definitely messed up that outer like tail of the eyebrow while I was doing this, but you're not going to be able to tell because I'm going to go over it with the concealer. Technique wise, I'm using the top of the brush obviously to really get in on like the edge of the eyebrow, but then I'm using the full flatness of the brush to kind of pat that product into your skin, so that it blends a bit more rather than just being a straight line. I use the rest of the product in between my eyebrows, and I'm going to use it on my eyelids as well, but put a little bit of primer on there. Betty Bombshell got me onto this one. It's nice and sticky because I had lost hope of finding a primer that ever worked for my skin. I'm not precious about this technique either. Right now I'm using a sponge. In a second I'm going to drop the sponge, and use a brush. But just kind of like get it all even, make sure it's not too wet and splotchy, because we're going to do our eyeshadow in a second. I can't find the sponge. Going to do our eyeshadow in a second, and you don't want it to be chunky. Both of these palettes I've had for over a decade, so do as I say, not as I do. These are out of date. One is a Morphe one, and the Prince one is an Urban Decay one. Both have really excellent pigment levels. I'm going to use both of them because they have variant shades of brown, and we're going to do a nice brown neutral quote unquote eye today. I use this high-tech technique where I've got a Visa debit card, the cardboard one specifically, to map out that angle of the eyeshadow. Doesn't really matter at this point because we don't have any concealer or foundation on the rest of our face, so it'll be easy to clean up regardless. I've got a really fluffy brush here doing the majority of this because it's like a big area and we don't really need to have compacted color yet. So I've covered up pretty much all of my eyelid, and I'm moving on to a slightly tighter fluffy brush to use the darker color. We're going to go for a dark brown from the Morphe palette that's definitely probably 15 years old. This one, we know this technique, right? This is not anything new. I've started with the light color. I'm going in with the dark color. I take the dark color into, I don't know what you would call that, the inside of my socket against my nose. We are going to cut this with a light color cream soon. So a lot of this is going to go away and be hidden under a concealer or a paste. But yeah, I focus way too hard on this bit. It really does not matter. I am simply blending two brown colors together. It's not that hard, Martini. Come on. This is the thing that takes me the longest, though. My eyes. Okay, time to cut the crease. We're going to use the same brush from earlier that we used on our eyebrows. We're going to choose between a concealer and a P.Louise paint tube thing. Today I have selected the paint tube. It's super thick, super high coverage. I really like P.Louise's stuff. So yeah, you're just going to go in and you're going to cut that crease. I don't know how to explain it other than you're drawing a new eyelid in. I make sure that you can see. So I keep my eye open, as you can see. I keep my eye open when I'm mapping out the shape because you want to see that bit when your eyes are open. If you do it with your eyes shut, then it's kind of no point. So yeah, draw the shape. Pat, 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 get it all covered up. And really, it is truly that simple. Okay, we need to set that cream now. So we need an eyeshadow or a powder. Sometimes I just use my setting powder, my Kryolan one. Today, I've decided to use my P.Louise palette that is not 10 years old. It's about a year and a half, and use like a really light yellow, just for fun. So set that so it doesn't get all smudgy and weird all over your face. Time for eyeliner. I use NYX Epic Wear. I have got a black one and a white one, and it is really, if I could only recommend one product, it is this eyeliner. It is waterproof and it is like highly pigmented. It is crazy good. So in terms of this shape, I have hooded eyes, so a normal wing looks really weird. I learned this on the internet probably a decade ago. So basically, open your eyes, look at the mirror, and draw your wing in while your eye is open. What will end up happening, if you have hooded eyes, what will end up happening is if you start from the outside and bring it in, the part where your liner looks like it hits your lash line is actually quite high up on your eye socket. So you'll see in a second, the outside of these wings are massive. They are biblically chunky. Biblically? They're chunky. But this is little optical illusion, because when your eyes are open, it looks like a proper wing. I'm using a fan that I got from Bombshell Burlesque. You can buy them on the website to dry this eyeliner, because it does start out quite runny. And if you get it anywhere that it's not supposed to be and accidentally let it dry, you are in big trouble, my friend. Yeah, so you can see this liner technique looks super strange when you're putting it together. Like, that's weird, right? I look like a bat woman. But when you open your eyes and when you have your lashes on, it looks like a proper wing. Yeah, boring bit now. Make sure it's dry. There you go. That's what it looks like. We're going to put glitter on now. This is a glitter Au GoGo mixture. Please come back, Margot, because I can't find a colour that's as good as Leonine Luxury. I stick this on. This is a loose glitter. It's biodegradable. It's made out of eucalyptus leaves. It's beautiful. I stick this on with sometimes Prozade, just a tiny bit, or eyelash glue. Get the glue only on that like light colored bit. I have a fluffy brush that is my dedicated glitter brush. And pat, baby. Get it on there. I really like this color. It's so pretty. She even gave me that extra big, like, little container of it, because I was like, this is my favorite color ever. They don't usually come in that size. How good. I'm trying to ration this. It's trying to stick it back in there. And sometimes I put it in my hair. Whee! All right, chuck a bit of mascara on just for fun. You can do this later, but I'm just doing it now. Both the top and the bottom of those lashes. Don't just do it on the bottom. Okay, foundation time. We're going to use more of that primer, the sticky primer. It's a NYX product as well. I use Dermacol, which is from Prague in the Czech Republic. It's super high coverage. I've shown you before, but it is really, really high coverage. It's similar. It's probably similar to a Kryolan stick, just maybe a bit more oily, which I like because I'm getting a bit older and I like to use the creamy stuff on my skin. So I'm covering my entire face in this just for fun. And I'm not doing it properly today, but you should also cover your neck and your ears because we wear lots of revealing outfits and you can tell if your face doesn't match your neck. Yes, good. Okay, so I'm covering my whole face. I'm using another Dermacol product here. It's a little contour stick. It smells really nice, like confusingly nice. I don't usually do my jaw, and today I decided I would. It was a bad idea, if I'm completely honest. I'm not very good at it. I'm using this brush. This is a Morphe brush, like a flat but real chunky one, just to blend things out. I am not very good at this part. I'm not very good at this illusion part, so forgive me, but I am trying to contour here. We've done cheekbone and forehead, and we have forgotten something. It is my blush. These are P.Louise as well. Like I said earlier, I like to use like the creamy stuff on my skin because I'm getting older, my skin dries out. It's that kind of skin, so I use very little powder. I've got I guess you would call this a neutral pink. I do my cheekbones and up onto my forehead. Again, I'm not great at this. I still have to practice. I have some practice to do, but I use the same sponge. It's a bit gross. Please don't judge me. With that neutral pink, and then I have like an almost red. Just on that bit, that would be the apple of your cheek if you didn't have such a long pointy face like me. Anyway, concealer time. All the usual spots that you would go. I like the just above your top lip situation. I feel like it makes me look pretty, but it probably makes no difference. This is that same tiny little sponge that I've used every other time we've used concealer today. Yeah, this, again, I'm not great at this part. I've got to work on the shapes and the blending, etc. But I guess I'm lucky that most of the time we work in low lighting and from far away. Okay, here is the little tiny bit of powder that I'm going to use. This is Kryolan, like a transparent powder. And I literally only set that kind of the area that I have used the concealer on, and I wipe off the excess. Otherwise I get real wrinkly. I also have this NARS, I think it's called Orgasmic. It is a blush, again, maybe 6 years ago. Maybe this is 6 years old. I use it over the top of the blush just to lock it in, but also to like amp it up. Eyelash time. These are pre-cut. I cut out the outer 1/2 centimeter of these eyelashes and then lay them on top of the outer corner of the eyelash. So the outer corner is really, really fluffy. Look, there is a correct way to do your eyelashes. I do not do it that way. Forgot to do my under eye, which is easier to do if you don't have an eyelash on. With a shadow, I map out this shape. So I'm trying to open my eye a little bit more than it actually is, because like I said, I have small eyes. So the middle part of this liner hits my lash line. I am not trying to make a big gap between, like, I'm not doing a full illusion of a bigger eye. I'm just opening the inner corner and the outer corner. That middle part hits my lash line. So yeah, map that out with a powder and a flat brush, and then I use a liner, the same liner I've done on top of my eye to do the inside and the outside. And here I am using the same NYX liner in white just to like amplify that shape, really. It just makes it look super duper clean and bright. You can put this wherever you want. I used to put it under my eyebrow, like the outer tail of my eyebrow, but it didn't do much for me. But yeah, you can do whatever you want with this. Back to the eyelashes. So what I do here, and I think that this is a ruby slippers technique, and I have definitely seen it on Drag Race too. Kennedy Davenport does it, I'm pretty sure. The inner corner is like flush with my real lashes, but the outer corner is sitting really 1/2 centimeter above my lash line, and it's lifting my eye up at an angle. No one's going to see it from 3 meters away, but you can use your mascara to kind of interlock your real lash and that fake lash, which I didn't do here, but I can show you if you are interested. I've started to put diamonds on my face, as my baby calls them. This is just eyelash glue that I had left over on the back of my hand. I used the end of a normal brush to put the dots on my face, and a rhinestone picker-upper to pick up the rhinestones and put them there. I'm just drying that serum spray that I sprayed all over my face. Dalba Instagram got me real good. Lipstick time. NYX, again, they're so good. I don't do anything fancy here. I literally just put it on. I don't use a liner or anything. I do overdraw just a tiny bit, and I try to even out the shape of my lips because I'm a little bit lopsided. But yeah, just overdrawing particularly that top lip, and give it a bit of a rounder shape. But yeah, this product is super easy to just put on like straight. It's a really easy brush. What have I forgotten? Appears I have forgotten something. Oh, yeah, just a bit more shadow under there, the lighter brown, just to blend it and make it match that top shadow. And put your mascara on. Ta-da! All done. Usually I do my hair. Now I use Got to Be spray and gel and like a magic root colorer in her eye. I also use a fake ponytail. Obviously, my hair is not fancy enough. Anyway, thanks for watching. That was fun.